Hey guys, welcome back here to the next episode on the Own the Map challenge here in Westby, Wisconsin. As you might be able to see, we did have to make a few more changes. Or not necessarily had to made, but made a few more changes. I ended up finding the same body style truck that we have in real life. So I went ahead and swapped it out for the newer one for the actually correct one. The only thing that's still incorrect is the motor in it because it's a 6 liter for what we have, and this one's a 7.3. But I also just sold my 7.3 that I had, so I guess it's a good combination of the two. We did end up getting the baling done, but instead of making the whole entire field into small squares, we ended up rolling that whole entire field and then part of the field where we left off at. We also went ahead and got a fuel tank delivered, which will help us out greatly before we run out of fuel. So off camera, I've been doing a little bit of work. Went ahead and started spraying some. So you guys ended up getting field 84 sprayed off camera. So we're going to go ahead and get field 81, 68, 67, and this patch down here sprayed. So we can get that all rolling so we don't have to deal with any weeds. It is getting pretty late in the day. We did get the sprayer nice and filled up though, so should be good to go. For at least getting a couple of these smaller fields done. They just went ahead and had the co-op go ahead and deliver out the spray here for us. Also did finish or did start getting this field of hay cut again. Got about one more growth stage till our oats are ready. And we also did end up buying a new piece of equipment. We ended up buying the Anderson bale wrapper. Just for ease of use for now, because we don't exactly have the money to buy a chopper and wagons and the heads for it. And plus, we only had one option since we don't have enough horsepower to pull any of the other choppers. So I think for now we're just going to go ahead and tube up this cut in the bale so they can start fermenting the silage. And I do believe we are going to switch to dairy cows here later on in this series, or really depending on how much income we have, possibly doing that after this year. We'll get up here to field 81, so our soybeans are coming up nicely on this side. Haven't had a chance to go over and look at our corn yet, but we'll here get field 81 sprayed so we don't lose any of our yield for the soybeans. So yeah, I started building another save here, not on Westby, Wisconsin, but on Tahiti County. So I think here in the next few days I'm going to start getting the series made on that map. It's going to be a dairy farm / pig farm setup as well. And after I get everything built, it kind of seems like most of the stuff that I have for equipment and buildings and everything is 90s buildings, so I'm thinking that one we might just start in the 90s and work our way up trying to own the whole entire map on there as well. That's what I think we'll probably end up doing, is making like a 90s series. Especially now that I found some better truck mods besides the one that you guys obviously seen in the first episode. My issues with it was just way too loud and kind of didn't really fit for this one, since this one's supposed to be starting out with our real life equipment. So it kind of made it a pain, and yeah, I didn't end up going with one of the base map farms for Tahiti. Ended up building my own. Spent quite a bit of time getting that built there yesterday. I was wanting to try to get this video recorded yesterday, but then I got kind of carried away with that map, getting the farm built and everything. But I also was in an extremely creative mode to be building the farm yesterday, so I thought, well, why not? So I got that one all finished up and just waiting to put a few more finishing touches on it. So yeah, if you guys have any comments or suggestions for this save, go ahead and leave them down below, and we'll see what we can do to help implement them a little bit. So we got a couple more passes left on this field, and I think what else we're going to do today is after we finish up spraying is I think we're going to go ahead and get some more mowing done to help feed the cows more, and go ahead and get that grass that we mowed today, just go ahead and rake it up and bale it so we can just go ahead and turn that into silage bales. Kind of make some preparations for switching from beef to dairy. And we could feed the silage bales to our beef cows, but it's not really an added bonus a whole lot. Also, I have kind of ran into some issues here on Westby. Main issue I'm running into is I can't exactly run horseplay since I mowed the grass fields in between the other fields. It's just kind of wanting to merge everything into one extremely large field. Field corn sprayed here real fast. Especially don't need it getting too many weeds in it hurting our harvest. Yeah, I did go for the row crop ready version of the heating. So if you guys have any good links to some good larger row crop ready planters, it's kind of limited from what I've been able to find. We're currently going to be starting the series with an 8-row planter. But then again, most people back in the 90s also ran 8-row, 6, 8, and 12-row planters, not so much of the larger stuff. So I think I have the equipment for that series, the starting equipment at least all figured out. So I got a feeling that one's going to be a pretty good series going on heating. But that series also isn't going to take away from this series here on Westby. Because the Westby one here is kind of a little bit more relaxed. This one I just got a feeling it's going to be a longer series depending on how much money we end up making per year. Yeah, I thought about expanding the farm a little bit, but as you can see, we only got about $10,000 in the account. And I've kind of been watching the used equipment sales, and there hasn't really been a whole lot of too much of interesting equipment come across there. I was kind of hoping the Anderson bale wrapper would have came up on the used equipment market, but I didn't end up getting that lucky with it, so I had to just go ahead and pay the full price for it. Who knows, that might not even last that long for that one. I just kind of went with that at least for this year, for a cheaper route to start stockpiling some feed, since we would have needed to buy a silage blower and everything else to fill up the silos. So just a little bit more money to invest in the equipment than we really had in our bank account, and I'm not really wasn't exactly wanting to take out a loan first thing in our first year. So I just figured for now we'll just go with the bale wrapper. Plus it's not something you really see on a lot of other people's saves, is tubing and wrapping bales a whole lot. So I figured that ended up being a little bit more interesting for you guys as well. I also did realize while I was mowing that first field there that you can't actually mow up the oats, so we might end up doing a little bit of something more with that, both on just mapping and onto heating, just to make things a little bit more interesting for you guys. Just trying to figure out what all crops the early mowing, before it actually gets to the harvest with the combine, what all crops we have available to us, because that could get pretty interesting. Alright guys, we got this field here finished up, so I think what we're going to end up doing here is we'll go back to farm, get refilled on some herbicide, and then we'll go over and get the rest of the cornfield sprayed. But one map I do believe that we're going to end up doing a playthrough on whenever it's released is Spitzer, Wisconsin by MRG. I've seen a lot of updates from his progress on the map, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty good map, especially with all the realism he keeps adding into it. I feel like that's going to be a good actual playthrough map as well. I'm trying to stay to the semi-realistic with how everything works for sure. But you know exactly you wouldn't really be using a 30-20 to spray your crops in real life, but that's what we used for years for this kind of setup. So that is partially why I'm using the 30-20. Even though I know we have been using the 30-20 quite a lot recently in the last few episodes. But I believe it's also probably going to be our first tractor we end up having to get rid of for the farm, seeing as it is a tricycle and it is our smallest tractor. So I figure we might as well get our playtime in with it now before we end up outgrowing it. It's some of the equipment on that, some of the equipment I had to end up going with on the heating was just due to limited options that I was able to find, like a combine, for example, was kind of partially limited as for which brand of combines had row crop ready heads to be able to harvest our corn and stuff with. So I do wish I would have got out here just a little bit sooner to get this corn sprayed, but I was also trying to pass time a little bit. I was debating on whether to do this on camera or off camera. I decided, well, I might as well get a little bit of this on camera. But as well in this episode, we are going to have to feed our cows some more. So I believe what we'll end up doing here is, once it starts getting a little bit too dark to continue spraying, I believe we're going to go back and get the cows fed real quick. So yeah, I think I want to go ahead and get the rest of the spraying here done between time lapse, and I'll probably end up finishing or doing field 67 off camera because it is going to take a little bit. So I'll catch up with you guys here after this time lapse. Guys, we ended up getting that bottom field done there, so it is getting to be about 6:30 here in game. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and refill up the sprayer real quick and get the cows fed. And I think we'll end up filming or spraying field 67 over there tomorrow, I do believe. I think what we want to do is get the cows fed real quick, go have some dinner, and probably catch up with you guys tomorrow. Hi guys, welcome to June 2nd. Here at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I think what we're going to do here is get the old Massey fired up and go ahead and get some more of this hay mowed so we can get the cows fed. Come up here and I believe we're going to get this second field here mowed today. Trying to stagger the fields a little bit. Let's make sure. Yep, we're ready to harvest, so go ahead and get the mower turned on. Get it lowered down here. Get this field cut. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to end up doing a little bit more from now on. Is I think the majority of, even whenever we switch to dairy, the majority of what we're going to end up feeding our cows is probably hay, just because we have so much hay ground. I think I might mess around a little bit with the whole crop stuff in this save, but probably not an awful lot. Just because we are still going to need our crops to be able to sell down at the mill and help us expand our farm some, even though we're going to have some income based off the dairy cows. So, looks like down on our yield map we are going to have to end up attempting to fertilize this field here this year, possibly. Might have to go rent a little fertilizer spreader from the co-op and spread some dry fertilizer on this hay field here. I really follow out on all of them if it'll let us, since it hasn't actually been tilled up as a field yet. So that's why I'm kind of wondering why it's throwing a fit about the yield, since it's not an actual field. And this is the first time I've really seen this with precision farming, for it to really throw a fit about a hay field that's not actually a field and showing us a yield map. Trying to stay at least a little bit away from our oat field here, so we have a little bit of buffer, so we're not mowing down even more of our oats. Because not exactly trying to do that this year yet. Hey guys, if you are enjoying the series, don't forget to like and leave me a comment, tell me what you think, and any recommendations you have for the series. Whether that be equipment to get, or some things you'd like to see us try to do. That is one thing that I do say I'm not a huge fan of with the Massey is it does not like sharp turns at all. Let's go ahead and attempt to back down here all the way back down to the lower part down here under this lower pass, just so we are on the correct side of the mower. Run over a little bit of hay, it's fine, it'll end up still getting mowed anyway. So you guys will have to let me know down in the comments whether you guys are enjoying the time lapsing of a lot more of the redundant stuff going on the farm, or if you'd rather you just cut it or just leave it playing at regular speed for you guys. There's just sometimes I run out of ideas to talk about, so then I'm like, well, I might just as well time lapse this. Hey guys, in terms of the real life farm, we at least have a field or two of corn planted. Still haven't got our beans in the ground yet, but it's also been, it rained a good bit Friday, or sorry, it rained a good bit Thursday here, and it rained again yesterday, which is Saturday, so it'll be at least a few more days till anybody can get back out in the fields to get anything else planted for sure. So hopefully it dries out here in the next day or two. But looking at the forecast though, it's still supposed to possibly rain Thursday, I believe it was. Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So it's kind of nice to slow things down at work, but at the same time it kind of sucks because then we can't get anything done at home either. Because it's too wet to. It's kind of a win-lose situation. Yeah, I did find some good mods to try out for this series in terms of stuff for us to upgrade to. Kind of some stuff we don't exactly see every day. That's kind of been what I've been working on a lot recently, is I've been finding a lot of different mods to try out for this series and just for personal use of my other saves as well. Which haven't exactly had a lot of time to play on my other saves. And it looks like we forgot a bale last time we bailed, so go ahead and at least get this thrown off the side of the field for now. I haven't exactly had a whole lot of free time to be able to play on my UMRV save. I've been trying to get at least some recording done, and then ended up building that farm there yesterday on the Heaton. To hopefully start up that series here soon. So my UMRV saves have kind of just got thrown to the wayside for a little bit. Which I'm not exactly complaining about it, because it's at least a nice little break. But I was playing a good bit of UMRV there for the last few weeks, so I was kind of getting tired a little bit. Yeah, looking at our yield map, last time we had a good fertilized level, and this time we really got a whole lot of fertilized, so we did end up getting about 30 bales in between this field and the other field last cutting with the round baler, so it's a good amount. I was also using the 150 centimeter bales instead of the 180. Just because the little New Holland skid steer does not exactly have the rear end weight to support the heavier bales at this time. And I'm not exactly a modding expert or really have any experience modding. So if I could figure it out, I'd do it to at least add the weight to the back of it, but my luck, I'd end up messing it up to the point that you can't really use it. So I guess we'll just have to deal with the smaller round bales for now, which isn't really a big deal, honestly. Kind of fits more into the realism perspective as well. So I think what we'll probably end up doing is finish cutting this field, then go cut the other field we had already cut last time as well. Then might try to get that rigged up off camera and do a little bit of baling on camera this time. Or I might end up saving that for next episode, possibly. I'm thinking that we might put it in this episode. So yeah guys, I think what I'm going to do here is go ahead and get this field finished mowing. Either on a time lapse, or I might just catch up with you guys after we get the field mowed. And I think hopefully by then the morning dew will be dried off a little bit. And hopefully this wind dies down some, so we can at least get that last field of spraying finished. So yeah, I'll talk with you guys then. Alright guys, so we ended up getting that field finished up then real quick. And the wind has died down some, so I believe we should be able to get our last field here sprayed then this morning. So we're all caught up on that then. Go ahead and get the old Massey shut off here real quick. Where we get 30-20. Let it warm up here for a second. Alright. 30-20 is all nice and warmed up, so go over here and get our biggest field sprayed real quick. Hopefully we don't have to, or hopefully we have enough spray left in the sprayer that we don't have to go buy a whole nother pallet of it. Hoping that possibly we do. This is a pretty big field, and from the way it looks, it is pretty weed infested. So, hopefully we have enough in this 100 and some gallons that's left in the sprayer. I'd hate to have to go send Dad to town to buy another pallet, or have the co-op deliver it, one of the two. Yeah, I think we'll probably at least try if the options are available to us with what farms come up for sale this winter. I think we are going to at least try to gain some more ground this winter and buy a farm, if not two, depending on how crop prices go for sure. But the worst part is for this year, about the only thing that we're going to have sold by the time people post their farms for sale during the winter is our oats, unless we take a lesser percentage on our corn and beans for the sales. So it is kind of one downfall of it. But it also kind of helps to be at least a little bit more realistic. And it also gives us a little bit more motivation to manage our money some, so we can keep adding on land. But the farm also does need a good bit of improvements though too as well. I'm not going to deny that. But we also do as well have the leasing equipment mod on as well. Or at least to own mod, I should say. So that could also help us out a little bit with getting some newer equipment and help keeping the cost down some. So we might be taking a look into possibly leasing some equipment, possibly starting this winter, do a 2-year, 1 to 2 year lease on it, and then have the option to buy it out later on. So then we also do have the more realistic banking on. So whenever we do take out loans for land or equipment, that we are going to have a monthly payment that goes back to the bank. Let's try to see if we can squeeze around this pole and hit this corner nice and well. That is one thing I do kind of dislike about this map, is those orange cones there. Everything just seems to want to get caught up on them. That is what I believe we'll probably end up doing, is making a few different equipment purchases possibly this winter with the lease to own mod. Give us some options possibly, depending on the prices and stuff. Because if we do take out a loan to buy some property, I don't want us to end up biting off more than we can chew and have to get rid of some of the equipment we leased and get stuck paying the early lease penalties, or early lease termination penalties, or having to take out more of an operating loan. It is looking though like we are probably going to have to send Dad up to the co-op to get us another pallet of spray here for herbicide, because we are getting down to 19% and we're only on the second headland pass here for the field. So I know by now that we are not going to have enough to complete this field here. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and stop here and give Dad a call to go up and get us another pallet of spray from the co-op real quick. Alright guys, I got Dad called and he's going to run up and grab us another pallet of spray from the co-op real fast so we can finish up this field. Because it looks like we may even be cutting it short for completing the second headland pass. Kind of a shame because we're going to have a partial pallet of herbicide sitting around for next year, but it also helps lower our input costs next year as well, I guess. It's the same way with those leftover pallets of seed that we had from this year as well. But that's also the way it tends to work though as well. Sometimes you just need just a little bit more, and then you either bite the bullet and deal with a little bit, or you just buy it and you have it for next year. But it'd be a little bit different if we had just a little bit of the field left. I might not have worried about getting that second pallet, but since we have a good chunk of the field left, we might as well get it. Because we are going to need it, so. So we are definitely going to be close for if we manage to make it all the way back around to where we started and finish up this headland pass. It's also a very good thing that we are going uphill to help take that back to where the pump is, since we are getting so low. We're close, we're close, and we didn't have quite enough. So we go up and refill the sprayer real quick, and I'll catch back up with you guys. Alright guys, got the sprayer all filled back up, so let's see if we have to go back up for another load or not before we finish this field, but hopefully shouldn't now. So I did have to wait on Dad a little bit, so I ended up going in and ate me some breakfast. And a place there the planner apparently missed. Might have to do some checking in to see if we had some issues going off the planner. Maybe one of the seed discs got cracked or something. And it isn't a brand new planner, so it is very possible. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying this series, I'd really appreciate if you left a like or a comment, said something about the series you like, or something you'd want to change, or something you look forward for us to do. So yeah guys, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and possibly time-lapse this. Yeah, well, never mind, I think I'm just going to keep it playing like this for you guys. See what your guys' feedback is for whether you'd rather just have me time-lapse the parts like this, or go ahead and just leave them at 1x, or if you gotta do this, cut them out in the video. Looks like we did have some volunteer oats in this field as well. Not exactly what we were wanting, but isn't exactly a whole lot we can do about it now. But what I'm going to try to do is somewhat keep a consistent upload schedule. So I know this week I kind of fell behind on that because of work. But what I'm going to try to do is upload on either Saturdays or Sundays. I think I might try to stick with Sundays and try to shoot for Tuesday and Thursday. And then the occasional surprise video on Fridays. Either Fridays or Saturdays, possibly. Depending on how much stuff I have to do throughout the week and how work goes. So I believe I have my audio issues figured out for sure. Not 100% quite yet, but I know that is kind of what messed with our upload schedule for this week. Was I had audio issues earlier in the week, so had a whole video recorded, and then of course you guys heard about that last episode, but I'm hoping that might be resolved now. So I'm still pretty new to this recording stuff, and trying to at least do a pretty decent job. But it made me angry whenever it messed up. I was like, I recorded the whole entire video. I'm like, that was a very good video. So it kind of sucks now that I can't exactly upload it, because I didn't want to just upload a time lapse and have to go through and type everything out. Yeah, guys, I think what we're going to end up doing here is let's go ahead and finish up this spraying off camera, and I believe this will probably be the end of the episode here. I just got some spraying done today, got a little bit of mowing done, so I believe in the next episode we're going to go ahead and probably do a little bit more mowing and get those couple of fields baled up and get them thrown in the tuber here before we have to start harvesting the oats. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Feedback's always greatly appreciated and helps me out. So I will talk to you guys later, and I hope you guys have a good day.